Good morning, everyone. It's Heather Cooper with Playing with Paper Crafting with my regular Monday morning live on Facebook. And today I'm going to be showing you how to do this really fun fold card called the corner flip. So this is a really easy fun fold technique once you get the cutting part done, and that's not really too hard either. So I've got a little diagram here to show you how what the measurements are when we go to make the card, and so I'll show you that as we do it, and also you can go to my blog at playingwithpapercrafting.com. You'll get some instructions that you can take your time with if you don't catch them quite with the video today. I'll also be uploading this to YouTube so that you'll be able to follow along on YouTube and stop and start as you wish. That'll go on my blog as well later, so playingwithpapercrafting.com is where you want to go on later on. So let's get started with this. I'm using the tropical, Timeless Tropical snap set for this one, and it's a really beautiful one. I haven't used it enough, so I'm glad that it's in the new catalog as well. It carried over, so I have a chance to use it a little bit more. I guess maybe I avoided it because we couldn't take any tropical vacations in the last little while, but I'm starting to embrace it again. Okay, I'm also using ink colors, our brand new ink colors. This one is the Evening Evergreen, and I'm stamping with a pale papaya and polished pink, and I've got some soft succulent as trim on there. Okay, all right, so let's get started with that. So we'll start with our Evening Evergreen base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. But I'm going to leave it open for now, and I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. Get rid of the scoring tool. I hope you can see this okay. Yeah, I guess that's probably okay. So what I want to do is I want to leave it like this. And I want to bring it in so that the left side is on the 3-inch mark there. Okay. All right. And then that's what we're looking at here with this at the 3-inch mark. And so then I want to adjust this cutting tool on the, oh boy, I really can't see here. There's a guide here. I'm just going to move this out of the way so I can see it first. So what I'm going to do is move there's a little line on the blade that you can line up with the ruler here on the blade guide, and I'm lining that up with 2.5 inches. Okay, so then I'm just going to lift this up a little bit, hoping it doesn't move. Slide this into the 3-inch line over here, and then just digging that in. Okay, and then I want to move it down to 4 7/8. So I'm going to cut it down to 4 7/8 inches. And again, that's really hard to see because it's so dark. And I'm going to just slide this in here so I can see 4 7/8. So that's down to right about there. I'll just move this out of the way just so that we can see 4 7/8. There. Okay, so that's that first cut done. All right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to turn this 90 degrees clockwise. We're going to line that up at 3 inches again. And then this, and I'll stick this in, we're going to start at 3 inches. So let me show you this again. So we're going to start this at 3 inches and go up to 5/8 inches. Okay. So again, I'll just stick this in here so we can see what we're doing. That's at this is lined up at 3 inches, and this is lined up at 3 inches. And that actually should take it right to this horizontal line that we'd already cut. Okay, and then we're going to go up to 5/8 inches. So there's a half. 5/8 inches is just the 8th line before we get to a half. I have to get my head in there. Probably went a little bit too far, but that's okay. All right, so that's the cuts that you have to make. And that's all the cutting that needs doing, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to push that corner there and flip it over so that this corner comes here. And we want to make sure that this is straight here, that it's the same distance all along from the edge. And then take our bone folder and then just even out those cuts there, okay? And that is the hardest part of the corner flip. Then we can fold on our score line at 4 1/4 inches and just burnish that fold there. Any questions about that? And again, you'll see this, and you'll see sort of photos of each step on my blog this morning. So if you get lost, that'll be more clear there. Okay, now we're going to start adding to it some decor. So we'll start on the inside of the card. And of course we want to add things to the inside because they're visible from the outside, and they really make a striking look when you add them. So we're going to add 2 pieces, soft succulent, and that's cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and then some basic white, which is 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And we're going to add that, and then that makes a really nice border. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to use my liquid glue, Tombow, for that. That gives me a little setup time. Make sure that I've got it in straight, which is really important because we want to have nice even edges. So this one should be about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And if we get 3 sides at 1/8 of an inch straight, just make sure maybe this outside one is nice and straight. The rest should work out nicely. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Looks pretty good. Okay. And then we'll add the basic white. Now we're going to use the same 2 colors, soft succulent and basic white. We're going to add them to the square right here. Okay, so this measures, this is a 2 3/4 inch square, and this is a 2 1/2 inch square. So let's add some glue to that. So this is a cute fun fold. You can also add, just before we get started, if you want to add some designer series paper to the front here, you have to add it before you do the cutting. So that's just a little aside there to let you know that that has to be done first. All right, and there's our basic white added on. Okay, now you probably want to add a glue dot to the corner here to keep it flat. So I'm going to do that. I got it. Okay, so now it's just a matter of decorating and adding sentiments. I just want to make sure those are nice and straight. And I did some of that last night, that was ready to go. So let's take these out. And I thought I'd try a different backing. I almost felt that pink, the polished pink, was a bit too bright. Maybe not, but I wanted to try and see what that something a little more subtle looked like. So we're going to try that one today. And if we don't like it, we could go back to the original. What do you guys think? Which do you like? You can let me know in the comments. Okay, now before we put these on, this is a hibiscus flower, and I've stamped that in pale papaya. These are, I think, plumeria, and I've done those in the polished pink. And then these are just a couple of leaves that I've stamped in the evening evergreen. So I've got the polished pink and the pale papaya Stampin' Blends. So I'll start with this one, and I'm just going to add a little bit of extra emphasis with the dark and light. So I'm starting with dark, and I'm not going to add a ton, probably not as much as I did on the original because of time, and I know this is not something you probably want to watch me do. You guys are awfully quiet this morning. It's a rough weekend. I'm just reinforcing those hatch lines that the artist included on the stamp. Just extending them a little bit. And then I'm going to use the light a little more extensively to bring that into the just to blend the ink and bring it into the middle a little bit more, just so that it's not such a stark looking flower. So I'm just blending and extending. That's my favorite line to use when I talk about Stampin' Blends. Blending and extending, which is what we do with the lighter color. So that's that one done. These ones are a little bit easier. So we'll add a little bit of, the reason I have to add the darker one is because it was stamped in a water-based color, and I'm using alcohol markers so that the light alcohol marker can't blend the darker water-based ink. It can only blend the alcohol-based ink. Okay, so let's take these and arrange them on here. So I think we will put down our leaves first because they'll be underneath our large hibiscus flower here. Are hibiscus flowers always red? Probably. I probably should have done these the opposite way around. I'm just going to use glue dots for these. Okay. Now we'll add, I think I used dimensionals, I did, for the hibiscus. So I'll use about 3 of them. And stick that there. And then these 2 plumeria. I'm going to put that one underneath, that one on top. And I think what we'll end up doing is putting a glue dot on one end and a dimensional on the other. So a glue dot on the part that's going to be on top of the hibiscus flower. Where does that go? Okay. And then a little dimensional to support the other thing. This one might only need a couple of glue dots because of the other thing to hold it up. It might just stick on the other one there. Okay, now let's move that over just a wee bit because I want to use these new in-color jewels to adorn the middle of the, take my pick tool here, to adorn the middle of the plumeria, which kind of adds a shiny touch to it there. Okay. And now we're going to do our sentiments. So we have a choice of these 2 backgrounds. I'm going to stamp the sentiment using Evening Evergreen, and this stamp is from the Timeless Tropical. It says, "Rest and relax, you deserve it." Okay, then we got to try and fit this all on here. Get my head in there. Okay, yay. Give that a minute to just dry. It is an intense color, so it takes a couple of minutes. Longer, a couple of seconds longer. Okay, so here's where we have to decide, everyone. What do you think? This, which I'm kind of partial to, or do we go shocking and put that one on there and add a little extra pop to it? So if you can Answer 1 for the soft succulent, or 2 for the polished pink. Thank you. 1 or 2, which is it going to be? While you're deciding, I'll show you a couple more samples of this corner flip card. This is one I did for Mother's Day. And this is one where I've got background or designer series paper on there. This is, well, it's not exactly designer series paper, it's specialty paper. It's called ombre specialty paper, really pretty. Okay, and I used Timeless Tulips on that one. This is the polished pink in the background. And then this is one that will be on my blog on Wednesday, and this uses the Pansy Petals stamp set. Well, so I didn't use the stamp set, the Pansy dies, and the Pansy, oh, I can't remember the name of the DSP, but that's all from that same suite. So there's another example of that corner fold card. All right, I guess we'll go pink. The masses have spoken. Let's just use some get my adhesive going here. All right. And the sentiment. That's better. Okay, so there's our finished card. The corner flip fun fold card. All right, I think that's it for today. See you again next Monday. Thanks for joining me today, for tuning in, and I'll say goodbye.